What defines you? Stay tuned. This is Damon Cart with NLP Gym. What defines you? That's both a question and a statement. Before I get into this, if you haven't already, please click subscribe to this YouTube channel. Please click subscribe to this YouTube channel so you can get these videos on a regular basis. Really like this city. Don't come here enough. These have been the coldest days I've ever experienced in San Diego. What defines you, I think, is a question that a lot of people try to answer, or they try to over-intellectualize or over-evaluate. I think there's a lot of misunderstanding about this question. What defines you? No one can really tell you who you are. You can't really tell yourself who you are. But from an NLP perspective, what defines you is whatever you attend to, whatever you put your attention on, whatever you focus on, because that informs your behaviors and that creates an identity and how you're perceived. If all you do is focus on problems, you will be defined by problems. If you worry all the time, if you are fearful all the time, or you make decisions out of fear and out of anger, then you become defined by worry, fear, and anger. If, on the other hand, you focus on success, you focus on opportunities, you focus on possibility, you focus on abundance, you focus on the things that you want rather than the things that you don't want, then you define yourself, or you become defined by those things. Now that might sound overly simplistic, but that's just the start. And it is simple. Simple doesn't necessarily mean easy. That's one of my mantras. And consciously, you can train your mind to focus on what you want. If you find yourself slipping into despair and thinking about getting away from the things that you don't want, you can catch yourself and then say, okay, refocus my mind. That's more of the conscious intervention. And here's the thing too, it's not that you should not know what you don't want, or it's not that you should not have worry or fear. Those things are good alarm systems. They tell you to be careful about something. They tell you to watch out for something, and that's appropriate. You want to do that. You don't want to turn that off. You just don't want to dwell on it. You want to take in the knowledge and go, okay, well, I have that, I know that. Now, what am I going to do about it in terms of what do I want now? I know what I don't want. What do I do want? I know what direction I don't want to go. What direction do I want to go? The hard part about this is, and this is where the NLP comes in, is that we have a lot of unconscious programs that puts our focus of attention on the things that we don't want. And this is probably biological and instinctual. We are still unconsciously focused on the saber-toothed tiger that might be around the corner, because that's what we're hardwired for. This is what we were hardwired for thousands, if not millions of years. So that's the kind of stuff that we focus on. So how do you change that? How do you reach into your programming and change those things? That's what NLP is really, really good for, because you actually can go in, change the programming, actually move things around. Yeah.
What kind of camera is that?
It's a Canon Rebel T5i. No problem. This is how it works. In your personal space, believe it or not, in your personal space, you see images, you see movies, you hear voices, you hear sounds, you feel tactile feelings, you feel proprioceptive feelings like knowing where your body is in space. This is all happening mostly unconsciously. And you're like when you make an image, a lot of times people say, well, make an image in your mind, but where are you actually seeing that image? It's probably right out in front of you. Most people, when they visualize right out in front of themselves. When you hear a voice, what direction is it coming from? Sometimes it seems to come from inside your head, but a lot of times it's not. A lot of times it's coming from behind you. So we have these programs in place, like a critical voice, for example. And a lot of times that's behind us, because a lot of times when we got caught doing something we weren't supposed to do, we heard some voice in real life when we were kids behind us saying, "What are you doing?" or "You're in so much trouble," or something like that. And so that stays programmed in our personal space, usually behind us. So you can go one at a time and try to reprogram all this stuff. and it's very difficult. And last video I did, I mentioned the self-concept model. I think I upset a few people because I promoted the workshop that's coming up that I teach this. You can learn this on your own. It'd be helpful if you have some NLP training. A lot of planes flying overhead. The name of the book is Transforming Yourself, and it's by Steve Andreas. He's one of my mentors, and he taught me the model, and I now teach it. You can program into you qualities of identity that you want. So if you want to define yourself by a certain quality, say it's joyfulness, curiosity, success, charisma, you can actually program this in, and you don't have to think about it consciously. It'll be there unconsciously, and you will naturally focus on these things, and it becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. It becomes a feed-forward system and a feedback system, but more importantly, a feed-forward system, so that you behave in the ways that align with your values. You take your values, you elicit them, and then you program them in as qualities, and you will consciously and unconsciously focus on this raw data of your experiences and categorize them according to these qualities that you want to have, and you will naturally focus on these things, which means you will naturally behave in the ways that you want to define yourself. Check out my website, nlp-gym.com. Follow me on Facebook for real-time updates on upcoming workshops and talks. If you'd like some free NLP training, if you go to my website, like I mentioned, nlp-gym.com, you'll find some free NLP training there. Take care.